Fox 54 and B2EDI are teaming up to celebrate our neighborhood heroes.
We are sharing stories of people right here in the Tennessee Valley that are stepping up to help someone in need.
If you know someone who goes above and beyond in service to their community, tell us about them. Visit fox54.com and look for the Neighborhood Heroes tab.
It's our way of saying thank you for making a positive impact in our community.
Neighborhood Heroes is sponsored by B2EDI.com. Unleash your best. Now, your neighborhood hero, sponsored by B2EDI.
Judy Crutcher has been directing traffic at her station on Sparkman Drive for 9 years now. But that isn't the only reason Crutcher is this month's neighborhood hero. It's because she does it all with a smile. Let's take a look. Right in between AAA and Fire Station 15 stands Judy Crutcher. Equipped with her $1 million smile and lipstick shade Viva Glam 1 by Bobby Mack, Crutcher makes a daily fashion statement, all while conducting morning traffic.
Other than their family, we're the first person that they see on the way to work, and that's important.
In the midst of steering folks clear of disaster, Crutcher can't always take a look at who's behind the wheel. And while, of course, hundreds of people notice her daily on Sparkman Drive, they also notice Crutcher outside of her uniform.
They do all the time. You run into them at the grocery store, you run into them in the library, at the park, you meet them all over the city.
In fact, one of those many people who notice and appreciate Crutcher anonymously nominated her.
I was surprised.
And in regular, humble, neighborhood hero fashion, she doesn't think of herself as a hero at all.
Well, I've never thought of myself as a hero, just as a person.
Instead, she turns that love back around on those she directs every morning.
The people who slow down, who stop when we ask them to, they're my heroes. You know, it's a dangerous job, and like I said, people are distracted, they're in a hurry, so when they stop, they're my hero.
With June's Neighborhood Hero, I'm Nixon Norman, Fox 54 News. Her love of people, talent for cooking, and willingness to serve make this month's neighborhood hero, Kathy Robinson Holmes, a haven of hope. I got the chance to sit and chat with her and sister, Debbie Robinson Matthews, for the first ever family-nominated neighborhood hero. Let's take a look. This month's neighborhood hero serves the community with a smile, but she also makes sure bellies are full here in the Valley, no matter who you are.
She goes a million miles out of her way for anyone. And the main thing about her is she found a love ministry where she loves to cook.
Robinson Holmes has been serving up smiles and plates for some time now. But the discovery of these talents came out in the midst of uncertainty.
I actually started, I'm in my church, in an organization, and the lady told me, said, Kathy, you have to bring your talent. We're going to the nursing home, bring your talent. And I'm like, Lord, I don't have any talent. And so I'm like, I got to quit the organization. I don't know how to sing, hold a tune. I don't know how to read in front of people. And I said, I don't have a talent, Lord. And so I come home, I'm boo-hooing to my husband. And my husband's a very quiet person. So I got to quit the organization because I don't have a talent. He said, Kathy, your talent is your love and love of cooking. I said, oh my God, I have a talent. So that's what I do. I spread my love by cooking.
But deep down, being able to express love via cooking has always been a part of her DNA.
She has got her talent from cooking from her mom. She put them in the kitchen and they watched her cook and helped her cook. So when I came along, I just did cornbread. You know, she was like, I'm tired of you. But the full cook, I'm so jealous heart of them now because they cook just like my mom.
Speaking of family, even family members who are not related by blood seem to think this month's neighborhood hero is something out of this world.
She's a good person, big heart, and I always have a big smile. Yeah, and that's her brother-in-law.
And beyond family and even community, Kathy Robinson Holmes serves people in the name of humanity. In her eyes, it doesn't matter if they're from her neighborhood or not.
It don't have to be in the community itself. If I go to the store and I see someone $2 short, hey, I'm gonna pay for your whole grocery, you know.
So neighborhood hero goes beyond just your neighborhood.
Definitely. Yes.
The biggest takeaway from this month's hero is simple. Love is not just another word.
Love is action. It's just not saying I love you, and if I talk to you on the phone before I end, it's I love you. And it's to me, love is an action.
And that love is shown in many ways, one of them being a clean plate. If the phrase neighborhood hero makes someone particular pop in your head, nominate them. You can do so on fox54.com by clicking the Neighborhood Heroes tab and filling out the form. You never know, your hero could be next. Live in the studio, Nixon Norman, Fox 54 News. Veteran. Coach, a man doing it all for the kids and love of the game. This month's neighborhood hero, Ronald Miller, has paved the way for many student athletes here in the Valley and beyond, in both their college and professional athletic careers with his app, Ticket to Greatness. Let's take a look. This month's neighborhood hero, Ronald Miller, saw a need and created a solution through his app, Ticket to Greatness.
We know the stats are out there. You know, less than 2% of players are going to go pro. And so what about those remaining 98%? What's going to happen to them? And so my focus, although it's to help the kids get to the next level, but it's also to make sure that we are keeping a strong hold on that 98%.
I just was so impressed and so admired the work that he was doing and why he was doing it. And you know, just providing this opportunity for students is just so powerful.
I chose to create Ticket to Greatness because I wanted it to have a solid foundation for players to be able to, or student athletes to be able to get scouted and recruited to play at the next level. I wanted to be able to also create, with my app, I want to be able to create an opportunity for high school coaches, college coaches, as well as these athletes to be able to fulfill the gap that's currently out there right now within the market.
He saw a need. He saw an area where something had to be done, and he did it. It's one thing to armchair quarterback, you know, sitting at home and talking about what needs to happen and what needs to change and what opportunities there should be. It's a whole nother one to identify it and then do something about it. And I think that's what makes him a hero to me.
Miller shares a personal story of one of the first times he guided a student athlete in the right direction. This testimony speaks volumes to the importance of what this neighborhood hero is aiming to do.
When I was just starting out retiring from the Air Force out in Mississippi, there was a young man, a senior in high school. The senior in high school was a gifted basketball player. Like, he had it all. He was the top athlete in the school, the top athlete within the city. And so when I got there, this young man, he came to me, he called me coach. Everyone called me coach. He said, "Coach, can you help me get to college, get seen?" He was a senior, had all the accolades, but he still wasn't noticed, right? No school noticed him. So I said, yeah. And so we started talking. I just started asking him questions. Okay, what is your GPA? He said, my GPA is a 2.3. It's not the greatest, but, you know, we'll see what we can do. And I said, have you taken your ACT, SAT? And he said something to me that stuck. He said, what is an ACT test? And as a senior in high school, that should never be the case. And so from then on, that's how Ticket to Greatness was really born, to be able to do something for those kids.
And if you know of someone in your community that you consider a neighborhood hero, tell us about them. Visit fox54.com and look for that Neighborhood Heroes tab and nominate your hero. With this month's Neighborhood Hero, I'm Nixon Norman, Fox 54 News. This month's neighborhood hero, Pat Pope, knows a thing or two about serving others. In fact, she is involved in a community of people who also have servant hearts. Pat Pope just happens to be a friend to them all. Let's take a look at this month's neighborhood hero.
She was here the first Saturday that we opened and stood in that doorway right over there where everyone came in just in tears because she was so moved by, you know, seeing this facility open in our community.
Through the House of Harvest, a local food pantry located in Harvest, Alabama, this month's neighborhood hero, Pat Pope, learned that we truly never know what our neighbors and loved ones are going through.
I was here on the first day, and I went, of course, to the wrong place first. And I was here, and I saw neighbors and people I worked with who needed to be fed, who needed food. And I felt so guilty. I thought, why didn't I know that? They were my neighbors. Why didn't I know they needed something?
The Pope's servant heart was beating even before the House of Harvest opened its doors. Pope has been building relationships through service for years.
Actually, my son went to church with Pat Pope, and I'm a breast cancer survivor, and we went to, we was having dinner at my house, and my son said, Mom, they played flag football, and he said, we ought to do a flag football tournament for a cause. And he said, what about breast cancer? And I said, well, whatever. And then Mike went to church the next day and saw Pat Pope, and she said, hey, I know Walter Jones. We can get him involved, and we can do a turkey bowl. So that's how the turkey bowl actually started.
12 years ago in my little church, Lisa's son turned to me and he said, Pat, I've got a great idea for a fundraiser if we can get Big Walter on board. And it took off, and that was 12 years ago. That was 12 years ago.
One of those years created change within the very place that helped change Pope's perspective.
One year we raised over $50,000, and I said, that's our freezer money, that's our freezer money. And so Adam ordered all these freezers, and this is our freezer money from Pat Pope and the Turkey Bowl.
Among all of these relationships, a community has been built, with Pat Pope being a common denominator among most of those relationships.
You just don't know that people out there that are suffering. You know, a lot of times we think homeless people or hungry people are people that are out on the street. A lot of people got homes, working a job, but just can't afford to feed their kids. So you always want to do that. You don't want a kid to go home starving or be at home starving. So that's how it all got started for us, and that's why we all kind of work together and do the things that we do, because that's what we want to do. We want to help that person that's in need.
Because of the support of this small community of servants, Pat Pope has the strength to go out and selflessly serve others.
I know that all I have ever had to do is pick up the phone and call Lisa or call Big Walt, call Adam. My problems are solved. That's not the same for the rest of these children.
So you're a neighborhood hero because other people have been neighborhood heroes to you?
Absolutely. We've got to show the love.
Congratulations, Pat. Keep making a difference here in the Valley. And you guys at home, if you know a neighborhood hero and would like to nominate them as next month's hero, head on over to our website and look for the Neighborhood Heroes tab. With this month's hero, I'm Nixon Norman, Fox 54 News.
It's the last Thursday of the month, and here at Fox 54, that means it's time to introduce you your October's neighborhood hero. Malachi Mason, our neighborhood hero, is our youngest hero yet. The 10-year-old could do whatever he wanted with his free time, but Malachi chooses to help those less fortunate. Our Nixon Norman introduces you to Malachi Mason.
A neighborhood is a community of people working together to help each other, and a hero is just someone that pretty much saves the day all of the time.
That was Jeanette Robertson, mother of Malachi Mason, this month's neighborhood hero. This 10-year-old hero makes goodie bags for those less fortunate, but Malachi likes to call them something else, something a little more special. He calls them blessing bags.
It's like giving a blessing to somebody.
Now, most fifth graders may be worried about the hottest video game dropping or the newest pair of shoes coming out, but Malachi chooses to use his free time blessing others living in the same community as him. But he doesn't do this out of boredom. These blessing bags come from a place of gratitude.
Because I would say I'd be doing fine, and I don't like to see other people struggle, so I like to help them out.
He's able to have everything that he needs and wants out of life, so I just had to inspire him or instill it into him to, hey, share what you have with other people, especially those that are less fortunate.
They include things like rain ponchos, hand sanitizer, and face masks. And of course, everything you need to stay fresh.
Travel kit is the miniature toothbrush, toothpaste, and deodorant for if they need to stay fresh.
But giving to those who go without a toothbrush or a stick of deodorant gives them so much more than those material things. It also gives them
self-esteem
and dignity and love and hope. And speaking of hope, Malachi and his mom took the blessing bags to a local haven of hope, the Rose of Sharon Soup Kitchen. CEO of the Soup Kitchen, Teresa Wilson, says that having heroes like Malachi in your neighborhood make for a better tomorrow.
because his heart is already in the making, that when he grows up, he's going to be centered on others and not just himself. And those kind of people do great things in our community.
And with that tomorrow, Malachi has big plans.
Seeing her do something every day and having this big of a building with this much food makes me want to do the same thing when I get older.
Nixon Norman, Fox 54 News.
Malachi, you are a true inspiration to many, and you're impacting more people than your neighborhood, so thank you so much. If you have a neighborhood hero in mind, you can nominate them. Our website is fox54.com, and you never know, your nomination could be picked and featured right here on Fox 54. Many people look at their father figure as a hero. This month's neighborhood hero lost his at a young age. Out of this pain, Willie Diggs became a father figure to many, to 3 of his own, but beyond that, to many, many more. Our Nixon Norman introduces you to this month's neighborhood hero.
A father figure is an individual who is able to influence his family. They're able to provide for their family, but they're also a model on what to do to make sure that society is better. I believe that is one of the major reasons. Me being an individual who grew up without my father, my dad died when I was 3 years old of cancer in the liver. I went over 30 years and not being able to talk about it. So when I'm in the community and I'm engaging young people or young men or young women, I see that that is something that is a struggle. And if I'm going to be the answer, I need to make sure that I'm present and show up and show them that compassion that I wish I would have had growing up.
I think the pandemic has really highlighted a lot of issues that have laid dormant in society and resurfaced some things that we've failed to address, which includes fatherlessness in the community. And his own personal experiences, I believe, can speak to that.
Diggs is a pastor, a mentor, a father, husband, and friend, and of course, this month's neighborhood hero. But he actually prefers another title.
I would consider myself a community influencer.
It's 2021. We've all heard the term influencer at some point. What can we say? We love our phones. But what exactly is a community influencer? And more importantly, what makes this title heroic?
A community influencer is someone who has the innate ability to take an individual who maybe is not volunteering in their community to start now serving their community.
He uses this influence for good, not only in real life, but on the internet as well.
He currently has a clubhouse room called Conversations with a Mentor, where he pushes and challenges mentors and leaders in the area to do more for their community, find ways to be more successful and give back.
It's safe to say Diggs is a mentor making other mentors, a community influencer making other community influencers.
I love to challenge young people. I have a young man who has over 600 volunteer hours, and he's under the age of 18.
For example, and you may have heard of him, you know, the guy who travels the country cutting people's grass for free? Yeah, Diggs was a mentor to him. Now Rodney Smith is out there changing the world one lawn at a time. Diggs believes that everyone has the power to make an impact. And from the neighborhood hero himself, all it takes is showing up.
I believe that inside of everybody is an answer to a problem. I may be the answer to fatherlessness, but someone else may be the answer to homelessness. Someone else may be the answer to veterans who need resources. So if I can impact others by doing that, I believe that everybody has the answer to some problem. So if they're the answer, if we can teach them to show up in their self, then we can make sure that our world is a better place. I have not lost hope in humanity. I believe that we are the answer.
Do you have someone you can depend on? Having that person can make the world a better place. And dependability is exactly what makes this month's neighborhood hero, Marquita Moore, stand out. Our Nixon Norman tells us more about this month's hero.
It doesn't make a dang what time it is during the night. I have seen her go at 2 o'clock in the morning and pick up somebody from the hospital. That's what you call a neighborhood hero. She did so much for so many people. Marquita to me is, she's not only my mom, she's my inspiration. She's my angel. She's my everything. Angel on earth.
I just don't do it for recognition. I just do it because it's the godly thing to do.
And that's true. Moore doesn't do it for the shout-outs. When she found out Laurel Hayes nominated her, one thought in particular came to mind.
I'm gonna beat her up.
This neighborhood hero does for others because she knows how it feels to go without.
I know how it feels not to have no friends and nobody, and somebody needs to help everybody they can.
So she's decided to be that friend to everyone. But how does she show love to her community?
You don't have that much time.
If you need a ride, call Marquita. If you need a support system, call Marquita. Basically, if you need someone to rely on, Marquita Moore is who you call.
Well, I just take them everywhere that they need to go, or I'll go help them clean their house.
On any given day, she knows what day Piggly Wiggly has pork chops on sale.
I take them to their doctor's appointments or wherever they need to go, the grocery store, and
who needs to go to the courthouse or Social Security Department, and she just goes and does.
Fortunately for the people around her, this has always seemed to be a part of her nature, to extend that olive branch, even if it is a simple ride up to the store or helping clean the dishes.
As far as I can remember, I've always wanted to help people. Even when I was a little girl, I went to my neighbor's house and helped them clean and helped them cook and stuff, just to be there with them. And they were elderly, and I helped them, and then it got started when I was about 7 or 8.
Her dependability not only makes her a great friend, but it makes her stand out in today's world.
There's never been a time I have not been able to call her and she will not be there. There's never been a time I could not just pick up the phone and just need somebody to talk to. She's there. She'll go miles and miles to pick you up from any hospital, anywhere, anything. She'll do anything for everybody.
She upholds her word, and a lot of people don't do that.
With this month's Neighborhood Hero, I'm Nixon Norman, Fox 54 News.
Not all heroes wear capes, but like most people, they deal with hardships in life as well. July's neighborhood hero, Mimi McComb, still finds time, energy, and the love to lend a helping hand to anyone in need. Our Nixon Norman introduces us to this month's neighborhood hero.
A friendship born out of tragedy.
My son was murdered, and then her daughter was a 3-year-old that was murdered, and we got very close when her daughter died.
Mimi McComb and Donna Howell formed a bond over their mission to not only carry on the legacy of their children, Livia and Larry, but to do the same for other children that were taken from their families far too soon.
And the grief of losing a child, especially in a violent way, is a lot different than losing somebody to a natural sickness. And people, normal people, will tell you get over it, put one foot in front of the other, oh, God had a reason, and nobody understands like somebody that's been through it.
Just to think that life can be taken just like that. One second they hit and the next day they're gone. So having her, she understands it.
And although Howell does her own part in helping young murder victims' families, she nominated McComb as July's neighborhood hero. Because even through her grief, McComb still lends a helping hand to anyone who needs it.
Thanksgiving, she does a dinner for the homeless people. I've even seen her go rent a car to go pick them up and bring them to the church.
I started out helping out in my church with the homeless dinners. And then my pastor saw how well I did. And he was like, well, you just want to start doing the homeless dinners there? I was like, sure.
These Thanksgiving dinners are always a success, but McComb's mac and cheese takes the cake. And there's a good reason why.
Because I cook it with love. Can't tell you my recipe, but I cook it with love. But I like to cook anyway, so I try to do what I can, you know, at Thanksgiving dinner. Everything is homemade. Nothing is out of the can or pre-bought. Every day get a home-cooked meal.
She also hosts birthday parties in honor of Livia, and other children in the community are welcomed with open arms and with gifts.
She does a community birthday party for all the kids in the community, and she has gifts for every child.
And I know that this is something she would want me to do because she loved to have a birthday party. She loved to have a birthday party.
Not only does this help keep Livia's memory alive, this is just one way McComb gives back and makes other children in her neighborhood feel special.
I invite a lot of kids that I know, and then I put it on Facebook, the flyer, and people share it. Like I had people RSVPing me that I don't even have to know the kids, but they're going to come here, they're going to eat good, they're going to play, and they're going home with a nice gift.
Howell says McComb is selfless.
She helps me with my thing with the young murder victims' families and young murder victims. she'll take her last dollar in her pocket and give it to somebody in need.
But McComb doesn't consider herself a hero. This is just part of her nature.
I don't consider myself a hero. I feel like I love the kids, and my baby, Livia loved kids, loved people too, just anybody. She never met a stranger, so this is something I think that she would be well pleased with, and it makes me feel good, and this is a source of comfort for me. Although I'm still grieving, this is what helps me with my healing. I will never fully heal, never get over it, but this makes me feel better.
With July's Neighborhood Hero, I'm Nixon Norman, WZDX News.
Beautiful story there. Thank you, Mimi. Have a neighborhood hero in mind? Well, you can nominate them on our website, rocketcitynow.com. You never know, your nomination could be picked and featured here on Fox 54. No good deed goes unnoticed, and that's exactly why Jerry Talley, an Arab, nominated his coworker, friend, and confidant, April Milligan, to be our very first neighborhood hero. Our Nixon Norman tells us more about the power of friendship and how important it is to have someone looking out for you.
Jerry Talley is a two-time heart attack survivor.
We were sitting there eating our breakfast, and all of a sudden I told her I was having a heart attack. So they rushed me to the hospital, and come to find out I did have a heart attack. My cardiologist said they was going to put 2 stents in on Monday. Well, right there in front of him, I had the second heart attack, right in front of my cardiologist. And he told me, he says, you're not going to wait till Monday. You're going straight into the operating room, and they put 2 stents in me.
And although he was strong enough to survive, he still finds himself needing some help.
I live here by myself, and I don't have anybody to look after me. And so, it's good to have a friend that'll check on you, to see how you're doing.
Friend and coworker April Milligan comes to the rescue. Not only does she take Talley to his doctor appointments, she also keeps a close eye on his health.
I don't know. I've always been one of those kind of people. I'm always there to care for people. I've cared for elderly. I help children. Anyone I see in need, it's just my nature. It's just me. If I can help someone, I'm going to help.
Both Talley and Milligan work with teens facing hardships. And although helping people is a part of this Neighborhood Heroes 9 to 5, she finds some time outside of work to help those who need it.
We've worked together for years, and he's just like family to me.
She even finds herself checking up on him at work, making sure he doesn't overdo it.
Oh, at work I tell him, like for example, he's not supposed to mop and sweep the floors because he always hurts his back. So I say, Jerry, don't touch these floors. He's like, okay. I said, no, I mean it, don't touch the floors because I don't want to see you at the doctor and have to work 2 more days because you can't come to work.
This friendship is important to Talley because of the help provided, but important to both people because of the companionship.
Well, I think a friend is somebody that goes out of their way to help you, and they'll be there for you whenever you need them.
You're there for them. You care for them. When somebody's in need, you do something for them. You help them out.
Sometimes to be a neighborhood hero, all it takes is being a friend. Putting the Valley first, Nixon Norman, WZDX News.
Have a neighborhood hero in mind? Well, you can nominate them on our website, rocketcitynow.com. You never know, your nomination could be picked and featured here on Fox 54.
Fox 54 News and B2EDI are celebrating our neighborhood heroes. We share stories of hope and inspiration about the good works going on in our communities.
I believe that inside of everybody is an answer to a problem. I have not lost hope in humanity.
If you know someone who goes above and beyond in service to their community, tell us about them. Visit fox54.com and look for the Neighborhood Heroes tab. Neighborhood Heroes is sponsored by B2EDI. Be the best to ever do it.